My life is my message. Mahatma Gandhi is the most powerful visionary and a practical idealist from the first half of the last century, whose life is a role model for us all. His life and thoughts apply to all of us at all times, to every sphere of life, and provide ways with which it can be applied to everyday tasks. The greatest influence on Mahatma Gandhi in his childhood was that of his mother, who was deeply pious and truthful. The family atmosphere also played an important part in making and molding his character. He was very meticulous and very watchful and aware of his own behavior. Once he came to know about his fault, he immediately tried to remove it and succeeded every time. Being steadfast on truth and his determined will are the qualities of his childhood. Mahatma Gandhi always tried to learn from experiences and experiments. He could learn even from the smallest incidents and immediately changed himself. He was ever interested in getting new experiences, in doing something novel with his inquisitive mind and the tremendous ability for hard work. Education played a very important role in his life. He always kept learning and evolving. These were the strong basis of his characteristics. He has shown us how to live by setting an example. He was an ordinary man with an extraordinary will to live his life according to the principles of truth, non-violence, and purity of means. What he preached he first practiced. This is the reason why he called himself a practical idealist. His efforts began from a point where he was standing. From his childhood, he had cultivated a practice that if he liked something that he had heard, read, or seen, he immediately started to put it into action. The action of putting ideas or beliefs into practice more than anything else was the driving force in his life. The answer for Mahatma Gandhi was always found in action. He had said, "An ounce of practice is worth more than tons of preaching." The leadership of Mahatma Gandhi in his time, the most harmful and destructive impact on the world was that of imperialism, modern industrialization, violence, war, materialism, and the greed for controlling the world. In the world torn apart by violence, greed, and intolerance, Mahatma Gandhi emerged as a powerful antithesis to man's cruelty and small-mindedness. He became the voice of sanity and a beacon of hope for peace-minded and tolerant individuals everywhere. Mahatma Gandhi had an inspirational personality, qualities, and abilities that made him a leader who captured everyone's heart and became a person universally admired and respected. What was the secret behind Mahatma Gandhi's leadership? Firstly, he considered the humanity and the nation above himself. He was a leader who knew where he wished to lead his people and how he intended to get them there. Besides, he led them into better rather than a worse scenario in which they were placed. People followed Mahatma Gandhi and respected him because he led a simple life full of peace, honesty, love, and empathy. He respected others and was kind to them. There was no difference between what he said and what he did. He never lost hope and always remained positive, and he always resolved conflicts with non-violent and peaceful means. If we can view Mahatma Gandhi as an ordinary person who remained steadfast in his pursuit of truth, constantly evolved by learning from his mistakes, had an ever-progressive personality, respected others, then we can understand that Mahatma Gandhi's life is a role model for us to the extent that one can strive to draw lessons for excellence and bringing out the best in us. Mahatma Gandhi worked in 3 continents. He was born in the western part of India, studied law in London, and spent 20 years as an activist and social organizer in South Africa before returning home to India in 1915 at the age of 45 years to nurture and lead a large-scale struggle for national freedom. So he worked in 3 continents, which is not an ordinary experience. His work as a freedom fighter, social reformer, religious thinker, environmentalist, and a writer, we can think of him as a colossal figure, in his time and in our times, whose life left the most powerful and strong imprint on the humanity of the world. He never lost hope. Mahatma Gandhi firmly believed that there is an element of truthfulness and goodness in each one of us. That everyone was capable of being truthful and do well to others. He could see oneness in all the creation of God. He learned from every mistake and took one step at a time to progress further. Even under very difficult circumstances, he never lost hope. He was very hardworking and humble. He valued each moment of time and utilized it to help others. He treated all work as God-given work and did each task with equal reverence. In all this, he remained ever vigilant and lacked laziness. He carried out each task with greatest sincerity and efficiency. He had a great sense of humor and was able to retain the balance of mind and stayed calm under any difficult circumstances. He was polite and soft-spoken and extended the utmost courtesy to others. The source of his strength was in his faith in God, and his inner calling was to serve others selflessly. Simplicity. Mahatma Gandhi showed us to lead a simple life. Be honest and truthful. He was a barrister with a degree from London, and when he was practicing in South Africa, he organized oppressed people and made them understand their inner power and be courageous and fearless to offer the highest of sacrifice for the cause of self-respect. Walked the talk. There was no difference between Mahatma Gandhi's individual life and public conduct. His definition of truth was simple: utter as you think and act as you utter. There should be harmony between what one thinks, what one says, and what one does. It is because of his integrity and accountability that he gained the respect of others. He was a role model who said, "Be the change you want to see in the world and lead by example." So, it is always easier to change yourself first and then expect others to change. Truth and nonviolence. Mahatma Gandhi's life was his quest for truth. He endeavored to attain it through nonviolence throughout his life. For him, nonviolence was expressed in his love for the creation of God. He saw oneness with each person. He was able to understand that we are all part of the same human family, and with love and truth we could lead a life of peace, harmony, and brotherhood through nonviolence. He had said, "Nonviolence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. There are many causes I would die for. There is not a single cause I would kill for." Mahatma Gandhi's global relevance. Mahatma Gandhi was the most influential and important political leader and thinker whose legacy still remains relevant to our times. What is that makes a man born in India 150 years ago still spoken of with interest, appreciation, and curiosity in so many different parts of the world? Mahatma Gandhi matters because he left behind a strategy of collective nonviolent resistance called Satyagraha to resist unjust laws and authoritarian governments. A strategy did not involve the taking of blood or killing or murdering your opponents that was adopted later with such conspicuous successes by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the USA for civil rights movement of African Americans, Nelson Mandela in South Africa fight against apartheid, Cesar Chavez who led the Mexican-American Labor movement, Dr. Gene Sharp whose writings influenced peaceful struggles in Baltics, Serbia, Ukraine, Myanmar and Egypt, and Lech Walesa who led Solidarity movement in Poland, and many others. The greatest scientist of the last century, Albert Einstein, was not the only one to see that Mahatma Gandhi was a unique and incredible kind of human being. He had said, "Generations to come will scarcely believe that such a man in flesh and blood ever walked on this earth." All those who came in contact with him perceived that there was something unique about Mahatma Gandhi and admired him. His continuing resonance is felt all across the world, and he continues to inspire people to stand for nonviolence and peace, for removing inequality by demanding justice, dignity and human rights. In the world divided by religion and faith, Mahatma Gandhi negotiated a beautiful middle path. He said to start an interfaith dialogue that should push people towards cultivating nonviolent, compassionate, emancipatory aspects of their own religion. Mahatma Gandhi's ideas and actions that remain persuasive and speak to us are in the realm of the environment. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi was the first environmentalist who had said, "Earth has enough of everybody's needs, but not enough for one person's greed." Mahatma Gandhi lived out his environment philosophy in his own life. He is a man who compulsorily recycled and reused everything. Through his life, he demonstrated how one can use the local resources for everyday needs. And that environmental credo he enacted in his daily life. Mahatma Gandhi constantly worked towards economic self-reliance for India and moral self-reliance for Indians. He taught everyone to be courageous and fearless, and lead a virtuous life. There are many lessons one learns from his life principles and can be applied globally. Within 70 years of Gandhi's death, over 130 countries had liberated themselves from colonialism, and more than 20 others had freed themselves from oppressive racist, fascist regimes, in almost all cases non-violently. This is the most sweeping democratization of international political geography and history. We owe a debt to Mahatma Gandhi for bringing peace, harmony, and non-violence in the world, and for that the only way is to keep experimenting with truth and non-violence in our own lives. Thank you for subscribing my channel.